The courtroom was packed that morning, reporters, lawyers, and curious onlookers whispering as the single father in a worn-out jacket stood at the defendant's table. His hands were rough, his posture straight, his eyes calm. He didn't look like a man who belonged there. He looked like a soldier. "Mr. Cole," Judge Hawkins said with a sarcastic smile, tapping his pen. "You're representing yourself in this custody case." Michael Cole nodded once. "Yes, Your Honor." The courtroom snickered. The opposing lawyer, a polished man in an expensive suit, smirked. "Your Honor, this is highly irregular. My client shouldn't have to waste time with an amateur. Mr. Cole is a mechanic, not a lawyer." Michael's jaw flexed. He didn't speak. He just glanced toward the small bench behind him, where his 8-year-old daughter, Lily, sat clutching a worn teddy bear. Her wide blue eyes watched her father with the kind of trust that broke hearts. The judge sighed. "Fine, Mr. Cole. You want to play lawyer. Go ahead. But I'm warning you, I don't tolerate nonsense in my courtroom." And just like that, the battle began. 3 months earlier, Michael had been working double shifts at a small auto garage in a dusty corner of town. Ever since his wife, Emily, had passed from cancer, he'd raised Lily alone. Life hadn't been easy, but Michael was a Marine, he'd seen harder days. He'd promised his little girl that no matter what, she'd never go to bed hungry. But when Emily's wealthy parents suddenly filed for custody, claiming Michael was unfit because of his modest income and PTSD diagnosis, his world cracked. Their lawyer made him look like a broken man, a veteran with emotional scars who couldn't provide a stable environment. Michael couldn't afford an attorney. He was already behind on rent, selling tools just to keep up with groceries. But when Lily asked, "Daddy, am I going to live with Grandpa?" he made a silent vow, "No one takes my little girl from me." So, every night after work, Michael stayed up studying. Legal books borrowed from the library, online lectures, old case files. He filled notebooks with laws, precedents, and handwritten notes. He didn't have a law degree, but he had discipline, patience, and a soldier's focus. Back in the courtroom, the opposing lawyer strutted forward. "Mr. Cole, you claim to provide for your daughter, yet you earn less than half of what my client does. Is that correct?" "Yes," Michael said calmly. "But I provide her something your client doesn't." "And what's that?" The lawyer sneered. "A home built on love, not money." The crowd murmured. The judge frowned. "Mr. Cole, please stick to legal arguments." Michael nodded. "Understood, Your Honor. Then let's talk about law." He opened a worn folder, filled with documents. According to Section 32-7A of State Custody Code, financial disparity cannot be the sole determining factor in a custody case. Stability, emotional well-being, and parental involvement hold equal weight. I have evidence and witness statements from her school counselor and teacher proving that Lily's thriving under my care. The courtroom went silent. Even the judge leaned forward. Michael handed the papers to the clerk with military precision. "You'll also find that my in-laws filed misleading income statements. Their lawyer failed to disclose investment accounts that paint a very different picture of their finances, a clear violation of disclosure requirements." The judge blinked. "How did you find this?" Michael met her eyes. "You'd be surprised what a soldier can find when he's fighting for his child." The next few hours turned the courtroom upside down. Michael countered every legal attack with calm precision. He cited statutes, precedents, and procedural rules the opposing counsel hadn't anticipated. When the lawyer tried to corner him on his mental health, Michael responded firmly. "I served my country with honor. PTSD doesn't make me unfit. It makes me human. It makes me aware of what really matters, protecting those who can't protect themselves. And right now, that's my daughter." Lily's small hand waved shyly at him from the bench. The judge paused for a long moment, staring at the decorated military pin on Michael's jacket. Her voice softened. "You prepared this case yourself?" "Yes, ma'am," Michael said. "Every page." "Why?" she asked quietly. Michael looked down, then met her gaze again. "Because I couldn't afford justice. So I learned how to build it." When closing statements arrived, Michael stood alone at the front of the room. He didn't speak like a lawyer. He spoke like a father. "I may not have a law degree," he said, his voice steady, "but I know what's right. I know what it means to stand when the world tells you to fall. I've faced war, but nothing's more terrifying than fighting for your child's smile. I don't have riches, Your Honor. But I have love, and I have the courage to defend it, even here, in your court." The courtroom was utterly still. The judge removed her glasses, her voice trembling slightly. "Mr. Cole, this court finds in favor of the defendant. Custody remains with the father." Lily squealed, running into her dad's arms. Michael lifted her, tears streaking down his tired face. The crowd erupted into quiet applause. Even the opposing lawyer lowered his eyes. As the gavel struck, Judge Hawkins said softly, "Mr. Cole, you're no amateur. You're a remarkable man." Michael smiled faintly. "No, Your Honor. Just a dad who doesn't quit." Outside the courthouse, reporters surrounded him. "How did you do it, Mr. Cole? Are you going to study law now?" Michael looked at his daughter, resting her head on his shoulder. "I didn't do this to prove I'm smart," he said. "I did it to prove that love isn't something you can take to court, it's something you fight for." And as he walked down those courthouse steps, hand in hand with Lily, the autumn wind carried away the whispers and judgment. All that remained was the quiet pride of a man who had been mocked, underestimated, and dismissed, but who stood taller than anyone in that room. He wasn't just a veteran. He wasn't just a father. He was living proof that courage doesn't end on the battlefield, it begins again every time someone says, "You can't win." And he did. For her.